Well, howdy. Today is Sunday, the 7th of July, 7/7, 19, Journal 102, which means that it's T+96, which means that there are essentially 4 more days till 100 and 5 more days till we go home, which sounds insane to me. Really hard to get used to. I think I mentioned yesterday that we were that I was in the middle of a conversation with a friend, and they asked me what I was looking most forward to when we get home. And today was an easy day. We got up, we had breakfast. I had my home care nurse come out and flush my PICC lines. We went to the market. Um, Perhaps for the next to the last time, we'll have to do that out here. This area has been really good to me, both while as an inpatient and as a resident, as a as a temporary resident. It's a wonderful area with really incredible folks throughout the area. It's been a really good experience. But that whole idea of what's next and what I'm looking most forward to, and I'm not sure that that's really the question. I think the question goes deeper than that. I'm not trying to overthink it, but we'll get back to the what I'm looking most forward to um, for a reprise, I guess, of some of the things that I mentioned yesterday. But really, there were two questions here, um, and one of them is what will change, and what has changed already. And I suppose perhaps the third question is how permanent those changes will be. How pertinent are they? And there's you know there's a lot that's changed in my life, and we've talked about that for the better part of the last 100 days, and I think that those changes are going to continue. At least I hope some of them do. I mean, not necessarily just the physical changes, but um, the the epiphanies that come with being confronted with a situation like I was, and recognizing that um, whatever consideration you have, whatever concept you have of what you're capable of, or what you believe you can or cannot do, is probably incorrect. You're probably capable of a hell of a lot more than you think you are. And all it takes is thinking to make it so. That and obviously, if there are physical components involved, um, doing whatever you have to do to prepare physically for what you're doing. My son would be Ryan would be the first one to tell you that you could be physically prepared to do an Ironman, but unless you're mentally prepared for it, you're not going to succeed. Certainly not at the level that you hope you will. So the question about going home is what has changed um, as far as I'm concerned. Well, certainly physically I've changed. It's going to take me a long time to recover physically uh, from the transplant process. It started with the destruction of my immune system and the destruction, the elimination of my bone marrow. So it's not just a matter of going to the gym and working out. It's a matter of having, enough red blood cells, enough hemoglobin to be able to work out effectively. So certainly physically, that's an issue. I've lost 15 pounds. I don't recommend this diet to lose weight. Trust me. Um, and to tell you the truth, I actually like this weight, which I've been hovering around now for quite some time, at least a month, and it's okay. So physically, there have been changes, and those changes will demand um, actions that are consistent with those changes. I don't have an immune system. That means I have to wear a mask. I have to wear a mask and I have to wear gloves, and I will continue to need those masks and gloves, for a very long part of this recovery process, because I won't be getting my childhood immunizations for, I believe they said that the first one will come 6 months after the transplant, which would probably put them somewhere around October. And I'm not even sure what immunizations we'll get at that point. Um, although there is a part of me that's really concerned about that, recognizing the fact that I don't have an immune system, and it's okay if you're an infant and you get those shots and you have no idea what's going on, but when you're an adult, uh, you know what they're doing to you. So uh, I'm going to have dietary restrictions that are going to continue. So that's changed as well. I've been um, any kind of dairy products have been eliminated from my diet um, since the transplant, because of problems I've had with my GI tract and the medications that I'm taking. So, at some point, hopefully that'll return. But for right now, it has not. And, you'd be surprised what you get used to. We talked about that yesterday. What's normal? Normal's whatever you make it. Um, the other side of that coin is what will change. and I have to believe that as my body responds, ultimately, slowly but surely, I'll be able to introduce dairy products back into my diet if I choose to do that. I will get my core strength back um, by going to the gym. I can't wait to go to spin class. Never realized how much I miss it. Um, and I hope I'm smart enough to be reasonable about my effort, recognizing that I'm not the same person who went to spin class before I started to symptomize. I mean, it's been well over a year, I think, since I've gone to class, and certainly since August, and so that'll change. Um, and you could look at a lot of those things as being negative in their composition, but realistically, I don't. I choose not to think of it that way. Um, I think I'd like to think of the changes that will be more positive. I'll get to see my grandkids again. Ultimately, they'll be able to come to our home again. Um, it'll require a lot of work because we'll have to literally disinfect the house after they leave, because kids carry, you know, everything, especially kids in preschool, little ones, and ours are still little. Um, we'll be able to have friends over. I've been told that under certain circumstances we can visit with those friends. So that's something that'll change. And they have been spectacular. All of our friends. That's the subject of another blog post. But I hope all of you are blessed with the same group of the same kind of interest and caring and consideration and loyalty that our friends have shown us over this whole period, particularly the support they've given Leslie, and blood and platelets and telephone calls, and just they've been spectacular. So getting back into that community is something I'm really looking forward to. So thinking about what has changed and what will change, and the role that I play in all of that, recognizing the role that I play in that, I think is important. And I think that, I've really tried hard to make these blog posts relevant in most every respect I can, for all of you. And knowing that whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever it is that I'm thinking about, are all things that most people can and should be able to relate to. And I guess that's what I'm inviting you to do. And maybe it's just another way of walking a mile in someone else's moccasins, right? So while you're walking in my moccasins, stay well, take care. Thanks for your comments in response to our blog post on what is normal anyway. It was really enlightening, and it was really exciting to hear from so many of you. In the meantime, stay well, take care. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. We're going to clinic in the morning. Got 2 cardiology tests to go through and a visit with the doc, and we'll see what else is going on tomorrow. May need blood, but I'm not sure. So stay well, take care, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bye bye.